to march, that intercepting the release. Do you have any like turnkey kind of things like that?
Well, I mean, obviously there's spinning going to be involved.
Right, of course, of course.
But yeah, I mean, it's what you started out at is knowing your dog, knowing what your dog's movements are, and your throws and how that's connecting, because then you know where to peel off, you know where to kind of meet or to pull your dog in. So I think it's a lot of that, and it's going out and kind of, I wouldn't say practicing. Practicing sounds like a bad term, sort of, because then it just sounds like,
well,
I'm
playing,
doing this
right?
exact same thing every time, and it's not that. It's not patterning your dog, but it's going out and playing with your dog, like you said, playing with your dog a bunch, so that you know how to read your dog. You know when they land, what's going to happen, which direction they're going to turn. It's just like humans, like, you know how you move better. It may be one way versus another. You can, if you're going to step backwards, do you step backwards this way or do you step backwards this way? Like, what's your natural way of movement? And the more you play with your dog out on the field, the more you kind of figure that stuff out.
Yeah, and I think as soon as we start getting to a point where we realize that knowing where, like, I bet you 75% of people out there right now that are watching this don't know which way their dog's going to turn on anything. And if you don't know that, how the hell are you going to make a shape? You know, because if my dog turns clockwise and I walk to 10 o'clock, I've just created a linear retrieve, right? If my dog turns counterclock and I walk to 2 o'clock, you know, he's going to turn that way. I'm going to walk this way, and I got a linear retrieve. Like, as soon as we get that idea of where the dog goes after the throw matters, where I go after the throw matters, now we can start doing something. You know, and then of course you want to play with it rather than practice, because odds are you don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? And you have to figure out what's happening. So, you know, and I think that's where the routine, trademark, copyright gets in the way.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going to do this, and then it just winds up I'm f***ing running around picking up discs.
Well, and I've always said it's kind of an oxymoron, because the game is called freestyle, which, if you think about that, we know that is, I'm freestyling out there.
Yeah.
And then a freestyle routine.
Right.
Now we've totally locked down that first word, to a routine. So yeah, I think it's a mix of both, though. Obviously, you can't just go out there with no plan in your head, nothing at all, but also, like, it's not about practice, pattern. It's about, like Ron said, playing with your dog and figuring out those movements.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. That was great.